In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the performance of the new TAYLORMADE SIM and SIM Max drivers. I'm going to tell you how I got on after testing them out in the golf course here at Whitecross Golf Club today, give you a good idea of the things I liked about these drivers, what I was seeing out on the golf course, and some of the things I absolutely loved about them. I'm also going to throw some numbers up on the screen to give you a good idea of the performance, benefits that each driver offers, some of the differences, maybe find out which one would suit you best, and also just give you a good idea of what you can expect from TAYLORMADE's 2020 driver lineup. First off though, before I run into all that, if you're new to our YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button below, give us a thumbs up if you enjoy this video, and if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments and I'll answer them for you. Now, if you want to know more about the technology packed into these club heads, I suggest you go and check out our first look video. We'll have a link to that in the description below. We'll also have a card on the top of the screen for you to click on. We really dive into the technology packed into the club heads, how it all works, and also why TAYLORMADE decided to go for this very unique shape to deliver more speed and more forgiveness. So check that video out first, get a good idea of how these drivers work, and then you can come back here and find out how they perform. Let's take a look at the numbers I got with both of these models. Using my SkyTrack, I tested both with the same Project X hazardous smoke shaft, both at 9 degrees of loft, and both while using Pro V1 golf balls. First off, we'll take a look at the SIM, and this is the model that on paper should suit me the best. I tend to go for this kind of model, the one that's tailored more towards better players, higher club head speeds, and that will offer lower launch and lower spin. So let's take a look at the ball speed, and we're averaging out 162 miles an hour and peaking at 166. So plenty of ball speed. That speed injected twist face along with the redesigned sole with that inertia generator rotated by 20 degrees just means you're getting more club head speed, and that translates into ball speed. So plenty of speed over the 160 mark, and that peak at 166, absolutely fantastic. We're then launching at 10.3 degrees and spinning just under 2,100 RPM on average. So that launch angle, is the lower launching one, so I would probably want to see it maybe just a wee bit higher, so I can adjust the adjustable hosel we have here just to get that launch a wee bit higher. I'd probably want to see it closer to 12 degrees, and then the low spin doing as it says on the tin. Another thing to note is just the consistency of those spin rates. You can see they're really, really solid. There's very little variation there, and that's just because this driver, with the speed injected twist face, and also the high MOI provided by that inertia generator, just means that you're getting great consistency, even when you're not hitting it in the exact same spot across the face. So very consistent spin rates, and that's really good to see. That's going to help you know how your driver's going to perform, and also just give you a bit more forgiveness and hit some straighter drives. So that's something that's really impressed me. We're then average carry at 260 yards and average total 290. So solid numbers there from the sim, doing pretty much as expected. Plenty of speed, low launch, low spin, and then solid distance. Now on to the SIM Max. This is the slightly higher launching, slightly more forgiving option. So it should be giving me a little bit higher launch, a little bit higher spin. And is that going to be the case? Well, let's look at the numbers. You can see the average ball speed, 161, peaking at 164, so hardly anything in it, only a mile an hour on average. We're launching higher, we're up to 11.2 degrees, so yep, we're getting higher launch. And then we're spinning, again higher, around about 200 RPM more, so closer to 2,300. And again, you can see those spin rates are actually really consistent across the board there. So a bit higher launching, a bit higher spinning, as the SIM Max is supposed to be. We're then carrying at 263 and going out to 291. So carrying a little bit further, that's just thanks to a wee bit higher launch, a little bit more spin, and just the peak height being a wee bit higher, and then going 1 yard more in total. So really, in terms of performance, there's not a whole lot in between these two. It's just how they're going to get you to that end result. For me, I personally prefer that lower launching, more penetrating ball flight, but certainly if you're looking for a lot of help at getting the ball up in the air, if you're looking to maximise your carry distance, then the SIM Max is probably going to be the one for you. Plus, with its 10% larger face footprint, it's just a good option. It just gives you a wee bit more in terms of visual forgiveness, and it is going to be more forgiving. So I think for me, in that sort of low single figure bracket, bit of a high club head speed, the sim, it's going to be the one for me. For probably most of you watching this, the SIM Max is likely to be a better fit, but the only way to know is to go and try them out for yourself. But certainly both doing as they say on the tin. One a little bit higher launching, a little bit higher spinning, and the other one giving a more penetrating, lower launching, lower spinning ball flight. Now on to my thoughts after taking these two big sticks out onto the course, and first thing I have to say is I absolutely love the look of these drivers. I think they look so cool. I love the fact we've gone to this chalk white leading edge as opposed to the grey we had in the M5 and M6. I think this looks really smart. We've got the carbon fibre crown, which has got a matte finish, again looks really cool like it did in the M5 and M6. We also have sort of blue colour pops throughout the driver head, including the bolts for the speed injection process. I just think that really pops, looks really cool. And even the twisted inertia generator, that quirky sole design, it's growing on me. I wasn't too keen at first, but certainly it's beginning to grow on me. And after all, once you place the club down behind the ball, you're not going to see that inertia generator, but on top, at address, it just looks really cool. Another big plus for me comes with the sound and feel of these drivers. I think that's something that TaylorMade have been really good at over the last few years, delivering that low, crunchy sound that I really like. I think it feels really powerful, and certainly both the Sim and the Sim Max are providing that once again, a nice, solid, crunchy feel at impact, which is something I'm a big fan of. Earlier on, the numbers displayed the differences between these two models, and it was the same story out in the golf course. The Sim was providing the slightly flatter, more penetrating trajectory I like to see, and the Sim Max was just launching that little bit higher. It was so easy to get the ball up in the air. And certainly if you're struggling off the tee, if you're looking for something that's going to help you get the ball up in the air, if you're looking for a high launching, low spinning driver that's going to deliver lots of distance, then this is going to be one for you to check out in 2020. Super easy to hit, looks awesome, and is delivering pretty much everything in terms of performance. Speed, forgiveness, high launch, low spin. You know, that recipe, that ultimate recipe for driver performance, plus with the twist face and everything, it's just a very accurate, easy to hit driver. And it's also worth pointing out the Sim Max D model in the lineup. I don't have that here with me today, but if you're looking for something that's going to help correct your slice, or you just want to see the ball moving from right to left, then it's got more drawbacks, and maybe it could be the one for you. But as I say, the Sim, that's the one for me, delivering the flight I want. And I also like the fact that we have the adjustability in the Sim. I like tinkering with ball flight from time to time, so having that 20 yards worth of drawn fade bias, it's just something that I like to have. And also we have the adjustable hosel in both models, but me having that adjustable weight is something I like to see. With the Sim, it's something that I couldn't get over. It kind of felt a wee bit like a more forgiving SLDR to me. That's what I'd probably liken it to, because it was delivering low launch and low spin. Like the SLDR, a really powerful driver, you know, a really hot driver, but if you weren't catching out in the middle of the face, it would let you know all about it. Whereas this has got the forgiveness, it's got the twist face to make your miss hits more accurate, and it's also got that inertia generator to boost the MOI. So for me, that's kind of what it felt like, a really forgiving SLDR, which is a pretty killer combination when you consider just how good a driver it was, but you know, only if you're curing it right out in the middle. So to have that kind of power, that low spin, that high ball speed, but to have the forgiveness, and as the numbers showed, the consistency of the spin rates, it just translated out onto the golf course. We're seeing nice, powerful, long drives, but when I wasn't quite catching out the middle, I was still retaining good speed, I was getting good distance, and it wasn't going a million miles offline. So for me, I was really impressed with how the Sim performed, how something that is, you know, generally a wee bit more tailored towards that lower handicap bracket, higher swing speeds, was just so forgiving. Now, because I say it's tailored towards faster swing speeds, lower handicaps, doesn't mean you shouldn't test both out. We saw in Hawaii that John Ram and Matt Wolf were using the Sim, but DJ was using the Sim Max. So it's all about testing them out for yourself, finding out which one will suit your game the best, going for a custom fitting and seeing which will give you the best in terms of performance. For me, it was the Sim. After testing all day today, going on the SkyTrack launch motor, I found that this was just the one for me. But certainly, it's about trying them for yourselves and seeing which one suits you the best. So to sum up, I would say these are two pretty impressive offerings from TaylorMade and a decent step up from last year's M5 and M6. Now the reason why I say that is that there isn't really a trade-off in one aspect of performance for the other. You have high MOI to give you added forgiveness, more consistency with your mishits, but you also have good aerodynamics and aerodynamic club head shape, and then improved aerodynamics thanks to rotating that inertia generator. You've got the speed injected twist face, you're getting plenty of ball speed, you're also going to get more accurate mishits. You've got the ideal CG location, so if you want lower launch, lower spin, the sim will do that. Higher launch, higher spin, the sim max will do that for you. So it's not trading off one thing for the other, it's kind of a complete package in one, and that's the idea behind Sim. They want to give you everything in the one driver head. I'm also looking forward to putting the Sim up against some other of the big guns in 2020. The Titleist TS3, Ping G410, Cobra Speed Zone, and some other drivers that are yet to be released. So looking forward to seeing how the Sim stacks up, but going by today's outing, I think it's going to hold its own pretty well. Lastly, I just want to say if you have any questions about these drivers, just leave them in the comments below. Let me know if you're excited to give them a bash for yourself. Just give me your thoughts on them and I'll get back to you. Do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you've enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, and thank you very much for watching.